Costco may look like a fortress of savings, but behind those towering pallets lurk quiet saboteurs, foods dressed as wholesome deals that are quietly gnawing away at your health. Each year, foodborne illnesses hospitalize over 128,000 Americans and kill more than 3,000. Yet some of the most popular items at Costco keep slipping past the cracks. Could the healthy snacks in your cart be the very reason your blood pressure spikes? Or why that nagging fatigue never goes away? How many of these bestsellers are silently loaded with hidden bacteria, plastic shards, heavy metals, or even chemicals scientists call forever poisons? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today, we're pulling the curtain back on 8 popular Costco foods that are slowly ruining your health, one bite at a time. Don't panic or get angry just yet. At the end of each part, we'll show you safer alternatives so you can protect both your health and your wallet. Number 1. Smoked salmon. The headlines hit like a cold slap this spring. Costco's glossy Kirkland Signature smoked salmon was yanked off shelves in a Class 1 recall, the FDA's loudest alarm bell, after tests found listeria lurking inside vacuum-sealed twin packs shipped across southeastern Florida. For anyone who's been clinging to grocery deals just to stretch a shrinking Social Security check, that news landed like a sucker punch. The same salmon that's been paraded as a budget luxury for Sunday bagels suddenly looked more like a landmine wrapped in plastic. And here's the part that twists the knife. No, there were no hospitalizations yet, but officials warned the danger doesn't evaporate when the press release fades. Once cold smoked fish is in your freezer, it can sit there quietly waiting, like a grinning burglar who already has your house key. Cold smoking perfumes the fish without cooking it, meaning every silky slice becomes a 5-star hotel suite for bacteria. Listeria thrives in damp chill, and older adults are up to 20 times more likely to die from listeriosis than younger people. That's not just a statistic. It's hospital bills, ICU monitors, and doctors whispering the word sepsis. What makes it even more disturbing is the timing. Recalls like this often erupt after distribution, when much of the product has already been eaten. It's as if they only sound the fire alarm once half the house is ash. By the time the FDA issues its out of an abundance of caution statements, seniors have already rolled the dice on their health. And if this were a freak accident, maybe it could be forgiven. But Acme Smoked Fish Corporation, the shadow force behind Kirkland Salmon, has a trail of FDA inspection reports that read like a horror script. Drains coated with biofilm slime, condensation raining from the ceiling onto prep lines, slicers carved with unreachable crevices where bacteria throw house parties. In one inspection, managers waved off positive listeria swabs as environmental, without checking if the contamination had reached food contact surfaces. That's not caution. That's negligence wrapped in corporate PR. When a product is sold as premium, older shoppers expect stainless steel discipline, not a germ playground with fancy branding. The deception doesn't stop at hygiene. Watchdog groups have caught smoked salmon brands faking labels, passing off farmed fish as wild caught, and slapping Norwegian on packages like it's fairy dust. Those industrial farms, they're cesspools of sea lice infestations, antibiotic overuse, and coastal pollution that would make a pelican cry. For seniors who remember when Made in America meant something, that betrayal hits like deja vu wrapped in plastic wrap. It's the same corporate game they've seen for decades. Sell a fantasy up front, bury the rot in the fine print. And what no label shows is the blood price paid by workers. Inside those icebox factories, immigrant laborers endure 12-hour shifts in damp air, slicing fish with frozen hands under quotas that value speed over safety. Injuries, respiratory illnesses, and sheer exhaustion stalk the floor. For many older Americans who once worked factory lines themselves, this feels like looking in a cracked mirror. The companies still grind down workers upstream so they can sell affordable luxury downstream. Every salmon slice carries not just sodium, it carries someone's lost breath. And about that sodium, each delicate portion hides over 600 milligrams, almost a quarter of the daily limit for seniors. quietly tightening arteries while the front label brags about omega-3 seconds. It's the oldest corporate trick in the book. Wave a health halo up front, slip the hazard into the nutrition panel. Instead of risking Kirkland's salmon, safer pantry standbys like star-kissed chunk-light tuna in water lower mercury than albacore, Wild Planet sardines in extra virgin olive oil, lab tested for contaminants, or chicken of the sea pink salmon pouches, fully cooked, shelf-stable, offer protein without the roulette. They may not drape like a fancy salmon ribbon on your bagel, but they won't turn your breakfast into a medical gamble. Until Costco and Acme clean up their act and show their safety records in daylight, this so-called luxury is better left behind the glass, because nothing about breakfast should end with an ICU bracelet. Number 2. Beef sticks. This past March, a chill swept through Costco aisles when nearly 30,000 pounds of Chomp's beef and turkey sticks were abruptly recalled after customers discovered actual metal fragments inside the so-called clean label snacks. These weren't vague suspicions or online rumors. The USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service confirmed the lot codes, expiration dates, and establishment numbers in black and white. For older shoppers who had stocked their pantries months ago, it was like finding out the granola bars on the shelf might be loaded guns. The brand that screamed wholesome protein now looked like Exhibit A in a courtroom, and while the company insisted that no injuries had been reported, that's cold comfort to a retiree who might only learn about the recall when their jaw is already bleeding. It only takes one bite to turn a $2 snack into a $4,000 ER bill. And yet, this isn't just about one bad batch. It's about the assembly line chaos, hiding behind the healthy branding. Meat snack plants run like overclocked conveyor belts, cranking out thousands of sticks per shift, often alternating beef and turkey on the same lines. Workers rush to hit quotas, purges between runs are rushed, and sanitation windows shrink until they're more suggestion than rule. New hires cycle in and out like revolving doors, and with every turnover, mistakes slip through. Undeclared allergens buried in labels, shards of plastic or metal bypassing detectors. For seniors who pick up Chomps as travel protein to stash in handbags or glove boxes, the risk-to-reward ratio feels cruel. The cleaner the marketing gets, the dirtier the reality becomes when production speed outruns human safety. And hidden inside that slender stick is another betrayal: sodium. Each one of these healthy sticks carries nearly 300 milligrams of salt. Eat 2, and you've already burned through almost a third of the American Heart Association's daily sodium limit. For anyone juggling blood pressure meds, that's like tossing gasoline on a slow-burning fuse. The packaging shouts paleo and keto, but the fine print whispers stroke risk and hypertension spike. It's the same old trick seniors have seen 1,000 times. Dangle buzzwords like shiny bait while quietly aging their arteries behind the scenes. Even the sourcing claims wobble under scrutiny. Chomps proudly boasts grass-fed beef, but watchdogs have long flagged how much of that grass-fed label is built on imported meat from places where audits are paper-thin and oversight looser than a worn-out belt. For older Americans who watched Made in USA vanish from factory floors, it's déjà vu and shrink wrap, slogans crafted to soothe, supply chains designed to cut corners. And behind those factory doors, former employees describe icy, damp rooms, 12-hour shifts, repetitive stress injuries, and supervisors who worship speed above safety. One worker nods off near a metal detector, and suddenly the defect is riding home in someone's Costco bag. Meanwhile, the legal storm clouds are already gathering over the jerky sector. While Chomps hasn't yet faced blockbuster lawsuits like Jack Link's, other brands have been dragged into court for false, all-natural claims and mislabeling their origins. Each lawsuit chips another crack in the facade, and for retirees who simply cannot afford to gamble with trust, even doubt becomes toxic. Once credibility erodes, no marketing buzzword can glue it back together. So, what's the exit ramp? Instead of gambling on Chomp sticks, safer protein alternatives are hiding in plain sight. Bumblebee and Wild Planet both offer vacuum-sealed cans of wild sardines and mackerel tested for low mercury, while Swanson and Hormel sell tidy tins of skinless chicken breast packed in water. Easy to stash, simple to open, and perfect for sandwiches or quick salads. For a plant-based protein punch, David Seed's roasted pumpkin seeds or wonderful pistachios unsalted packs give steady energy without the allergen roulette or salt overload. They might not wave flashy paleo-approved stickers, but they deliver honest protein that travels well in handbags, lunchboxes, or the glove compartment. Because after October 2025, Chomps may still pitch themselves as better for you, but for older Americans, the block gamble is just too steep. Your snack should fuel you, not fool you. Number 3. Sandwiches and salad. This May delivered the kind of headline that makes even seasoned Costco shoppers freeze, mid-aisle. 86. Ready-to-eat sandwiches, wraps, and salads from Fresh and Ready Foods. Alongside its shadow brands, City Point Market and Fresh Take Crave Away, were slapped with a sweeping recall after inspectors found listeria breeding inside the company's own equipment, not just on a cutting board or in a stray cooler, inside the machines themselves. 10 people were hospitalized, and 1 life was lost, all while these same items sat neatly stacked in Costco warehouses from Arizona to Washington, hawked as easy meals for busy retirees. Officials labeled the recall precautionary, but for older Americans living on fixed incomes, precaution is a luxury, because the wrong turkey wrap can turn into a $6,000 hospital bill faster than a credit card swipe. The notice may have been printed in clean corporate font, but to seniors, it read like a death warning in disguise. Trust shattered, health gambled, savings on the line. And the bacteria are only the opening act. These factories run like casinos where the house always wins, pushing out thousands of sandwiches per shift under relentless quotas. Time spent dismantling slicers and scrubbing drains is treated like lost profit, so germs find hiding spots and set up camp. Add the brutal labor math. Low-paid workers sprinting through 12-hour shifts, wrists aching, barely trained, racing quotas that rise like a slot machine jackpot. One misstep upstream becomes a biological ambush downstream. For retirees just looking for a quick turkey club, it's like inheriting a booby trap. Corporations cut corners, workers get squeezed, and the senior pays the highest price. Then there's the allergen chaos, the kind of nightmare that rarely earns bold headlines. Regulators found wraps and dips leaving the facility without declaring milk, soy, or nuts. A minefield disguised as lunch. Picture a grandmother picking up a wrap for her grandson, unaware the sauce has been quietly swapped for one laced with dairy. One innocent bite, and suddenly she's dialing 911 through shaking hands. These disasters don't happen out of malice. They happen because supply chains swap ingredients mid-week, printers lag behind recipes, and oversight gets lost in the noise of volume. The box might look wholesome, the inside might be a ticking time bomb, and when the products finally hit Costco's floor, the flaws only multiply. Refrigerated meals are supposed to stay below 40 degrees, yet customers report fogged cases, sandwiches sweating under broken chillers, and packs stacked above the cooling line like forgotten luggage. For bacteria, a 10-degree rise is not a hiccup, it's a green flag. Seniors trying to save half for tomorrow only make things worse, giving pathogens a full overnight to multiply. Even the lot codes, the only clue telling shoppers if their lunch is safe, are printed faint enough to stump even a hawk. For aging eyes, they may as well be invisible. What good is a recall if the people most at risk can't even read the warning? The cruelest insult? Those labels. Fresh, chef-inspired, healthy. Fresh means nothing if germs are simmering inside, and healthy is a cruel joke if it ends with an ICU wristband. These sandwiches are a masterclass in corporate theater. Lure seniors with promises of low-cost convenience, then gamble with the health of the very people least likely to survive an infection. And, when caught, they hide behind the same tired shield, out of an abundance of caution. But that phrase won't erase trauma, won't return lost hours, and sure won't cancel medical debt. It's a PR band-aid on a wound that should never have existed. After October 2025, the safest path is simple. Walk past the glossy boxes from Fresh and Ready, City Point Market, and Fresh Take Crave away. Lean instead on brands with stronger safety records like Boar's Head, Applegate, Just Bare, or Oscar Mayer sealed packs. Widely stocked at Costco without the Russian roulette. Or build your own. Canned salmon with vinegar slaw, Dole or Taylor Farms bagged greens rinsed at home, and Hillshire Farm deli meats you can actually see. It may not carry a chef-inspired sticker, but it won't send you to the ER. Convenience should never be a coin toss with your life, especially when you've already earned the right to eat in peace. Number 4. Chocolate. It sounded like a fairy tale wrapped in foil. Rolling Pin's Dubai-style chocolate exploded onto Costco shelves this year, flaunting glossy gold wrappers and stuffed with pistachio kadaifi filling. A glitzy dessert built for viral posts and holiday gift baskets. Social media crowned it the luxury bite of the year. But that golden moment melted fast. In September 2025, Costco abruptly yanked the product after uncovering a glaring allergen error. The label listed gluten instead of wheat. To most shoppers, that might look like a minor slip of the keyboard. To anyone with a wheat allergy or celiac disease, it's a loaded gun. One square of mislabeled chocolate can mean stomach cramps, hives, and a midnight ambulance ride. The recall was called voluntary, but that word doesn't soften the risk for retirees who often buy sweets in bulk and store them for months, unaware they've just stacked a health hazard next to their tea bags. It's the ugly truth behind viral food fads. They sprint to market faster than safety checks can crawl, leaving the most vulnerable customers holding the bill. And the danger doesn't end with the label. Chocolate has always had a shadow, and lately it's getting darker. Independent lab tests from Consumer Reports flagged several chocolate brands, including premium ones, for containing elevated levels of lead and cadmium. These heavy metals don't announce themselves with flashy symptoms. They settle silently in bones, kidneys, and brain tissue, building up year by year. For older adults already managing fragile organs, that one little square becomes a slow drip of poison disguised as comfort. It's the cruel irony of indulgence. What's sold as a heartwarming treat can quietly chip away at the body like rust, spreading under fresh paint. Then there's the ethical rot beneath the sweetness. Much of the world's cocoa still comes from farms in West Africa, where watchdog groups have repeatedly documented child labor, forced labor, and starvation wages. That means every bite of luxury may carry the fingerprints of exploited children half a world away. For seniors who grew up believing in fair pay for honest work, the idea that their holiday chocolate could be built on human misery lands like a betrayal wrapped in gold foil. What good is exotic delight if it's laced with suffering and stamped with oversight failures? And here's the final twist: the psychology of marketing. Rolling Pin's branding leaned hard on scarcity and prestige, exactly the kind of emotional bait that preys on older shoppers nostalgic for special occasion treats but forced to watch every dollar. It's a cruel trick of the market. Make something look scarce so people rush to grab it before they ask if it's safe. The glossy wrapper promises joy, but the fine print hides negligence, contamination, and exploitation. It's dessert as a Trojan horse. That's why after October 2025, Rolling Pin's Dubai-style chocolate shouldn't be seen as an exotic delight at all. It's a cautionary tale about how easily glitz can camouflage risk. If you still crave chocolate that feels like a treat but won't gamble with your health, reach instead for Lindt Excellence Pistachio, Tony's Chocolonely Pistachio Bars, or Ghirardelli Intense Dark Pistachio. These brands have stronger quality oversight, clearer allergen labeling, and independent audits that actually mean something. They may not be plastered all over social media, but they deliver the rarest luxury of all, peace of mind. Because when you've worked your whole life, dessert should spoil your sweet tooth, not your health. Number 5. Colby Jack Cheese. June 2024 delivered a headline sharp enough to slice through Costco's Northwest Comm. Tillamook's Colby Jack and Monterey Jack twin pack slices, beloved staples for sandwiches and snack plates, were abruptly recalled after inspectors discovered plastic particles embedded inside the cheese. Item number 6, 51195, stamped with a Best By date of October 22, was slapped with a Class 2 recall. An FDA code that sounds clinical but translates bluntly to this: health consequences are possible, even if not always permanent. Plastic might look harmless on paper, but bite down on a shard, and the reality is anything but. It can snap dentures, cut through gums, and lodge in the throat like a tiny landmine. For retirees already buried under medical debt, the word precautionary feels less like comfort and more like a taunt, because one wrong slice can turn lunch into a choking emergency. And the irony couldn't be thicker. Tillamook, the century-old farmer-owned cooperative long romanticized as a beacon of honest dairy, now stands tangled in the same synthetic nightmare as the faceless industrial giants it once claimed to oppose. The contamination likely started where plastic meets metal. Slicing blades, conveyor belts, or crumbling machine guards. But the ripple is bigger than a single breakdown. It exposes a rot running through the entire food system, its suffocating dependence on plastic. From wrapping to transport to the very gears of production, plastic now touches nearly every bite before it touches your lips, which means this won't be the last shard that sneaks onto a plate. Even Oregon locals, usually loyal to their hometown brand, filled forums with biting jokes about extra sharp plastic. Underneath the sarcasm lurked something harder to swallow: the cracking of trust in a brand once treated like family. And trust matters deeply to older Americans. For many, Tillamook symbolized a shrinking circle of dependable names in a grocery world gone cold and corporate. Watching that logo appear on a recall notice felt like watching a childhood farmhouse quietly bulldozed. No warning, no explanation, just gone. It forces a heavier question. How many other safe staples are skating by on nostalgia while cutting safety corners to meet quotas? When companies stretch machines past their lifespan to chase margins, bits of those machines inevitably end up in the food. What's marketed as artisan heritage starts to look more like industrial debris in disguise. If you bought this cheese, don't gamble with it. Return it immediately. Your teeth and arteries deserve better odds than plastic roulette. Safer stand-ins are hiding in plain sight. Emmy Le Gruyere slices with their firm Swiss oversight, Jarlsberg light slices made under Norway's tight quality laws, or Sargento ultra-thin provolone, which pairs taste with stringent U.S. safety checks. They may not wear Tillamook's folksy charm, but they won't make you flinch at every bite. Because after October 2025, nostalgia won't protect anyone from splintered plastic. Trust has to be earned fresh, not just remembered fondly. Number 6. Dairy. Costco's deli kits once looked like party starters. Street taco trays, chicken wraps, and creamy dips crowned with queso fresco. But in early 2024, that festive glow shattered when those same kits were yanked from shelves after Rizzo Lopez dairy ingredients were tied to a deadly listeria outbreak spanning years. Investigators confirmed 2 deaths. 1, pregnancy loss, and over 20 hospitalizations linked to the very cheeses folded inside Costco's family favorites. Listeria isn't a simple stomach bug. It invades the bloodstream and brain, leaving fragile bodies on ventilators. A taco tray meant for celebration suddenly felt more like a condolence card. FDA reports later exposed how Rizzo Lopez plants had racked up sanitation failures. Positive listeria swabs in drains and machinery, re-cleanings that never fixed the root problem. Instead of eradicating the bacteria, they let it linger, turning every shipment into a biological gamble. Worse, because these cheeses were tucked discreetly inside Costco's deli kits, many shoppers had no idea they'd brought them home until the recall alerts arrived. For older customers, squinting at faint lot codes on crowded labels, the hunt for danger felt hopeless. Like reading smoke, safer alternatives exist. Cabot Creamery Sharp Cheddar, Belgioso Parmesan, and Crystal Farms Mozzarella. Brands using aging or pasteurization that slash listeria risk. After October 2025, Rizzo Lopez dairy isn't authentic flavor anymore. It's a silent threat dressed in fiesta colors. Some foods season a meal. These cheeses season tragedy. Number 7. Ready-to-eat chicken. Bruce Pack's ready-to-eat chicken might look like an easy protein fix, but last October it triggered one of the largest recalls in years. Nearly 10 million pounds pulled for listeria contamination. That's not a typo. Millions of pounds of supposedly fully cooked chicken were recalled because the same bacteria that thrives in cold, damp plants was found in finished products. Some of Costco's best-selling frozen meals, Rana Chicken Truffle Carbonara, El Monterey Taquitos, Red's Burritos, were suddenly suspect. And when a wrongful death lawsuit in Indiana claimed a child died after eating a meal made with Bruce Pack chicken, the idea of convenience stopped sounding thrifty and started sounding lethal. The danger isn't just bacteria, it's baked into the system. Once poultry is cooked in massive plants, there's no final kill step at home. If contamination sneaks in, you have no defense. Add to that a history of foreign object complaints, plastic shards, rubber bits, even metal slivers, and every bite becomes a gamble. Even the nutrition label betrays trust. Sodium-heavy injections keep the meat juicy, but quietly sabotage blood pressure, especially for older adults already juggling medication. Safer shortcuts exist. Applegate Organics Oven Roasted Chicken Breast, Boar's Head Golden Classic Chicken Breast, and Simple Truth Organic Grilled Chicken Strips offer ready protein without the Russian roulette. After October 2025, the clearest choice is to leave Bruce Pack's chicken on the shelf, because convenience isn't a bargain if it comes bundled with hospital bills. Number 8. Mineral water. Topo Chico mineral water towers in gleaming glass bottles at Costco, selling the illusion of purity like it's bottled starlight. But tests have exposed two unsettling shadows. The first came recently. In June 2025, an 18-pack sold across the Southwest was recalled after detecting Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a bacteria that can invade lungs, blood, or open wounds, are turning a refreshing sip into a hospital admission for anyone with weakened immunity. The second shadow lingers deeper. Consumer Reports previously flagged Topo Chico for having the highest PFAS, forever chemical levels, among all sparkling waters tested. Even after Coca-Cola claimed reductions, levels stayed above stricter benchmarks scientists urge. PFAS don't rinse out. They accumulate in blood, quietly linked to cancers, hormone disruption, and immune system damage. For retirees who thought water was the one thing they could trust, this feels like betrayal in a bottle. The bubbles marketed as healthy soda alternatives are now tied to the same chemicals once found in firefighting foams and nonstick pans. And behind the sparkle lies another sour truth. Topo Chico draws from Monterrey, Mexico, where locals accuse Coca-Cola of draining aquifers in drought years. Americans sip wellness while nearby families ration buckets of water. The irony tastes bitterer than any lemon twist. Safer choices stand ready. Poland Spring Natural Spring Water, Mountain Valley Spring Water in glass, or Perrier Sparkling, all tested under tighter standards. Because after October 2025, Topo Chico isn't just sparkling anymore. It's a gamble. When food safety collapses, only awareness protects us. Subscribe now, join this fight, and demand truth behind every bite.
Thank you for watching today's video all the way through. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay updated to our latest daily videos. Now feel free to check out other featured videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.